Hi, welcome to HeKate's Crossing. Okay, I'm going to begin this journey of the I-Ching. Okay, so this is more of a sort of a self-vlogging sort of look at I-Ching. Now, this is the deck that I'm actually working with, the Visionary I-Ching cards. Okay, so that's what I'm actually working with. Now, I do actually have sort of multi sort of divination type books, like the DK book by Julia and Derek Parker, where it's predicting your future. Now, there is a part in this book which is the I-Ching, which explains a little bit about it. It gives you the 64 hexagrams, and it just gives you that sort of look at sorry, let me just grab it here. Don't want the tarot side of it, of course. Don't want the runes. Okay, so we're going into the I-Ching here. So it does sort of explain a little bit about the I-Ching and how it works, and then a little bit about each one, each of the 64. So it does go into a little bit of detail here, and then you've got a little bit how to do a reading as such, and how it works, and this sort of stuff. There's the different methods and things like that in doing a reading. Okay, the other book that I've got here is the ultimate Excitopedia of fortune telling, and again, it's mixed. It's got all sorts of things in the book. It's got playing cards, it's got runes, it's got the playing cards. See, we've got cards, cups, crystals. It's in the east with the I-Ching, and the numbers in the palm of your hand. It's in the stones, it's in the stars. It's got some astrology aspects as well into it. It's got quite a bit in there. So yeah, so it's quite interesting here. Here it talks about the 8 trigrams. So again, it gives you quite a little bit of a method of how to use the actual coins, how to do the 3 tails, 3 heads, 2 tails, 1 head, 2 heads, 1 tail, and how it goes, the moving yang, the moving yin, and the yin yang, and how to sort of create the hexagrams, and then how to use them into a reading. So quite interesting. It just gives you really quick, with this book here, it gives you really quick messages. It's not too it's not too complicated, so to speak. It's very quick overview of each of the hexagrams. So it's actually quite good, and if you just want a really quick short message, if you were using the coins. So there's just a couple of little books that just to look at if you're interested, and you get the heads and tails coins, the I-Ching coins. They're some really great books. So now let's dive into the Visionary I-Ching cards. Okay, so now this deck here was actually created by Paul O'Brien, and the art by Joan Larimore. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Visionary I-Ching cards here. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about what's written in the book, because I just feel like it just goes into quite a lot of detail, and we're not going to, and I don't think you really want to listen to, I mean, you can find out the information about the I-Ching, lots of websites and stuff like that. And I just want to use this deck in particular. So what we're going to do is just look at using this this deck. Okay, now this deck is split into, of course, with the hexagrams, you've got the earth, the lake, the sky or heaven, the water, the mountain, the thunder, and the wind. Okay, so that's the trigrams. Okay, so you've got, for example, here with 15 with humility, you've got earth above and mountain below, because each hexagram is made with a trigram, 2 trigrams. Okay, so you've got the what's above and what's below for each of them. Okay, so depending on where they come in the let me see if I can show you here. Okay, so you've got here, I'm hoping that you can see this, is you've got the trigram here and the trigram here, and how they work together to make the hexagram, how they combine together. Okay, so you're starting from the below to the top. So you've got the heaven above and heaven below. Heaven above with the thunder below. Heaven above with the water below. Heaven above with the mountain below. Heaven above with the earth below. Heaven above with the wind below. Heaven above with the fire below. And heaven above with the lake below. Which is quite interesting. And then you've got those upper trigrams, like the heaven, thunder, water, mountain, earth, wind, fire, and lake, below the other ones, and that combines and gives you the number here, which matches the hexagram. This is the trigram polarity wheel. Oh, I see. So heaven is opposite earth, lake is opposite mountain, wind is opposite thunder, and fire is opposite water. Okay, so that's interesting. So let's, what I'm going to do is show you how they suggest in doing one I-Ching reading. Okay, so you've got the present and the future. So think about a topic, not necessarily a question as such, but stay focused. So it says how to frame your subject of inquiry. The I-Ching was designed to deliver insight, wise advice, and a sense of which way the wind is blowing, if changes in the air at all, in regard to any situation or dilemma. It was not designed to respond to queries seeking data, yes or no answers, or predictions about the future. Even though the I-Ching will reveal trend lines and probable outcomes that may come from taking its advice, approach the I-Ching for guidance as you would a wise counselor or a mentor. Definition is a way to gain perspective on what's happening right now via fresh insight and timeless wisdom. So form your inquiry with the pursuit of wisdom or helpful advice in mind. The words you select to frame the subject of your readings are important because they support your concentration as you perform the ritual. When dealing with an immediate problem, it is best to consult the I-Ching about the attitude, method, or approach to take rather than asking for specific details about what is going to happen. Avoid asking for specific answers to questions like where will I get a job or who is the mate of my dreams. Notice the difference when these queries are rephrased as topics instead of questions. Best approach to finding a satisfying career and how to find my mate. If you present appropriate kinds of queries and frames, then subsequently as topics, you're likely to have more satisfying I-Ching readings. So how to pick cards to determine your hexagram. Stay focused on the subject of inquiry when you begin shuffling the deck. Then you fan the cards out and allow your intuition to guide you to select the first card, your present hexagram. Now, while continuing to focus on your situation, let your intuition guide you to pick a second card, which is your future hexagram. The first hexagram card you draw represents energies that are currently in play. The second card you draw points to what the future holds and also determines your changing lines. Changing lines represent factors that are in flux at present, so they can read in accordance with a morphing present situation. Changing lines are any lines that are different between the two cards. After determining which lines are your changing lines, read the interpretations for only those lines under the present hexagram text. For the future hexagram, read the text of the hexagram as a whole, but disregard any of the individual line interpretations. Makes sense. Okay, got it. Okay, so, for example, let's just say, for an example, you're wanting how can I move forward in my career? How can I move forward in my career? So let's have a look. So this is the first, so this is a present card. Present card we have here is 47 with oppression. Lake above, water below. Okay, so we'll look into that one. And then the second card, what do I need to do? Improve my career. What stands 12 with stand still, sky above, earth below. So what we want to do is have a look and see what the changing line is in these. Just give me a second here to have a look at the hex grid. Oh, let's see if I can tell the difference. Okay, line number 2. Two and 6. So what I'll do in the present one, and this one here, so 47. So 47. So let's look at 47. Let's have a proper look at 47. If you can see. What I might have to do is see if I can, just give me a minute. Okay, just quickly before I pull it back out again, let's have a look at the I-Ching here. Okay, and then you want to look at this one here as well. So let me just put them let me put them below so you can sort of see the difference. Okay, so we're looking at, let's have a look, line, what did I say, line number 2 and line number 6. So in the present, I would read, does this situation seem familiar? Outwardly, things appear fine, but inwardly you feel oppressed, weighed, and dreary. At such times, I did say 47, eh? Yeah. So let me just pull this out again so that you can see. Okay, so let's continue. So we're doing line 2 as the changing line. Does the situation seem familiar? Outwardly, things appear fine, but inwardly you feel oppressed, weighed, and dreary. At such times, help often appears suddenly, randomly, as if miraculously descending from heaven. Problems may still remain after such help arrives, but the anchor that kept your mind moored in your troubles, real or imagined, is being lifted. At such moments, personal effort will be necessary to smooth out the wrinkles in your life, but strong new energy will become available to help you when you find yourself in the dumps. Hitch a ride to higher ground with whatever will get you there, and don't look back. Okay, so that's changing line number 2 and changing line number 6. Okay, so let's go to number 6. The future suddenly grows brighter. You've been oppressed by bonds that can now be broken, and recent troubles are drawing to an end. Allow yourself to go forward and even kick up your heels a little bit. There's no need to be extremely cautious any longer. Your problems may be illusory than real at this point. Once you grasp the possibilities, take on a positive attitude and become determined, you will soon master the situation and reap your rewards. Oh, that's cool. Okay, well that makes sense with the question I asked. Okay, next is the 12, standing still, right? And with this one here, you read it as a whole. So this bit here is in periods of standstill or stagnation, confusion and disorder can prevail. Small-minded and self-serving forces arrive when the powers of clarity and creativity are on the decline. The inmates are overrunning the prisoners' guards. In such times, summon up your fortitude. Don't shine your light, simply withdraw. The wise take shelter in their own integrity and quietly remain faithful to their principles. Retreat from public activities and common exchanges until the times favour direct action. Concentrate on personal affairs with humble dignity, even if it means letting go of some short-term rewards. Desiring to change such a situation too quickly creates extra conflict. By accepting some hardship while striving to maintain integrity, you're preparing for future growth. Remember that a seed of prosperity is often hidden inside the husk of misfortune. Ooh, it's an interesting card to sort of look at when you're thinking about sort of just taking a moment to sort of breathe. To me, this is sort of like taking a moment to sort of breathe and to just focus on your own self for a bit. Focus on what's important for you, what do you need to do, even if you need to let go of some short-term rewards. So we're not worrying about rewards or things like that. You're just going to allow things to just be a little bit still. Don't be in such a hurry to move through this. Feels as though with the cards here, it's about it's about keeping things still, keeping things quiet. Don't worry about the outward. But not looking back. It's about things changing too. Future will grow brighter, that things will soon change. So yeah, what an interesting reading. So that's what we're looking at today. So we look at, so you can see that in the present card, we look at between the two cards here, the present and the future, we look at the changing lines. And when we look at the changing lines, and in this case, it's lines number 2 and lines, remember we're moving from the bottom. When we do a hexagram, we're moving at the bottom. So we're looking at lines number 2 and 6. That's the changing lines between these two cards here. And so that's what you read in the present card. And then in the future card, you read the card as a whole. So that's quite interesting. So that's what I'm going to start exploring. The combinations. I mean, it's really important to look at the cards, I think, as pairs, not just as individuals, but how they sort of move together, because that shows you how to read the cards in a way. So it sort of talks about that's sort of the only way to sort of read the cards. It's not about doing big spreads or big things like that. I think it's very much about just choosing the two cards here. It does not talk about not using lots of cards. You're just using two cards for your casting your hexagrams, if you like. You're just doing two and you're combining them to create your reading. So you're using this, just the changing lines, and this one as a whole, and that's how you read the cards. So that's what we're going to be doing, is looking at these cards as combinations, not as a thing. So yeah, and I think it's really important too not to be in a hurry to do a second reading. I think you need to really allow yourself to just reflect on today's message and just move through that slowly today. And then tomorrow, if you want a bit more clarity, then go ahead and do a second reading. But just give it some time to sort of gel in, because sometimes we don't understand the message immediately. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to sort of get to know the messages. So if you're interested in an I-Ching reading, please comment down below. Now, I've explained a little bit how to form your question, very much about the topics and the subjects, not specific questions. They're not timing questions. They're not about who or anything like that. It's all about, like, how can I improve my situation in regards to, what can I do to achieve this? It's not about what's he going to look like, what's the how does he feel about me or anything like that. You're looking at how can you improve in your journey. It's about taking it very serious about your journey, about how you can move forward. So if you're interested in an I-Ching reading for me to practice, please leave your name, or please leave a comment down below, and I will do a series of videos in regards to your I-Ching requests, if you like. So please, yeah, leave your comments down below if you would like a reading. Okay, so that's it from me. Don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.